My friends, the craziness around President Trump and Mel Gibson is only getting more and more insane. And today we have this absolutely crazy story that we have to talk about, where we have a deep state Democrat who very clearly hates Mel Gibson, who tried to do all sorts of absolutely terrible things to him, who's just fired by President Trump. This whole thing is absolutely hilarious. And the reason why she is fired is insane. And she is now having a complete and total meltdown over this. It is absolutely hilarious. She literally went to the mainstream media to cry about her getting fired for doing something terrible to Mel Gibson. This whole thing is absolutely insane. No lethal weapon for Mel Gibson. DOJ official acts for not reloading his gun rights. So, of course, some people may not be aware of this, but basically, Mel Gibson does not have his rights after a 2011 DV conviction. So, basically, he lost his gun rights, and, she basically continued to try to hold that over his head, and, completely backfired on her in the most spectacular way possible. A former U.S. Department of Justice pardon attorney says that she was fired last week from her position for refusing to reinstate Mel Gibson's gun rights. And as we know, of course, Mel Gibson is working with Trump. Trump officially made him his special ambassador to Hollywood, along with Sylvester Stallone and Jon Voight. Trump and Mel Gibson are working together. They are on the same team. They have very common interests and goals, especially when it comes to taking down the deep state and all of that type of stuff. Of course, we just saw Mel Gibson hanging out with Kash Patel just a couple days ago as well. So it's very obvious that there's some very interesting things that are happening with Trump and Kash Patel and Mel Gibson. I just made a whole video talking about it, so you guys can go check it out if you want to. And so things are getting crazier because it's very obvious that this pardon attorney who was fired hates Mel Gibson. She has no interest in justice. She just wants to continue to show that she is just, butthurt about Mel Gibson for whatever reason. So the New York Times was the first to report Oyer's termination. She told the outlet that Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche's office had compiled a list of 9 people eligible for restored gun rights. But when Oyer submitted her draft memo to recommend the reinstatements, 2 senior Justice Department officials sent it back, asking her to add Mel Gibson. But she responded to her bosses, making it clear that she couldn't. Interesting. She claims she later got a call from someone in Blanche's office asking if she was willing to budge. When she stood her ground, they pushed harder, bringing up Gibson's close ties to Trump, his role as a special ambassador to Hollywood, and hinting that recommending him would be the smart move, which is interesting because they're basically telling her, that what you're doing here is stupid, and it's not even like following the law really or anything. You're just being an idiot right now, and to own Mel Gibson or whatever, and it's not going to work out for you very well if you do this. And apparently she didn't take the hint. She decided to try to pretend to be boss babe feminist icon over here, and it completely fell apart super duper fast on her. Oyer says she stood firm on her decision, being the girl boss that she is, but just hours later when she returned to her office, 2 security officers were waiting with a termination letter from Blanche in hand, and they escorted her out of the building. Oyer says she was not informed why she had been fired. An unnamed Justice Department official told the New York Times the Gibson issue was not part of the decision to fire her, and maybe that is the case, but it kind of looks like that is the case. In 2011, Gibson pled no contest to misdemeanor battery against his ex-girlfriend, and Oyer made it clear that her refusal to reinstate his gun rights had nothing to do with politics. It was purely a matter of safety. Just safety, guys. And of course, this is the lies that they continue to use. We're doing it for your safety. We're taking away your rights. We're taking away your freedoms for your safety. And it's absolute BS. So this is kind of an interesting twist to this whole crazy story about Mel Gibson. So when requesting Gibson be added, the office highlighted a January letter that Mr. Gibson's lawyer had written to 2 senior Justice Department officials arguing for his gun rights to be restored. In the letter, Gibson's lawyer noted that he had been tapped for a special appointment by the president. The Times pointed out that within the working group of government lawyers considering restoration, there was general agreement that a significant period of time since a conviction should have passed for someone to be eligible for such relief. Perhaps 10 or 15 years. In this theoretical scenario, Gibson's misdemeanor conviction 14 years ago would place him well within the bounds of a restoration consideration. Yet Gibson's case continued to dangle on the point of DV. So it definitely kind of looks like that this whole thing blew up on Oyer because she wanted to play girl boss, and she had no real reason for doing this to Mel Gibson. Continue to protect our Second Amendment because it is absolutely just a bedrock when it comes to freedom in this country. So with that being said, let me know what you think about this insanity. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you all in another video very soon.